Glenn Giannantonio, Giannantonio. I'm the homicide lieutenant for the San Diego Sheriff's Department. And who should I look at? You. Okay, I'm going to stare at you. Or I'll be looking down at my notes since I haven't really gone over them a whole lot. So, okay, I'm going to basically take this from the beginning. A lot more information than that has gone out earlier in the day. It's still a fluid investigation, so there's a lot of detail that I can't put out, but I will be putting out as much as I possibly can without putting the investigation in any danger. So, on August 4th, 2013, shortly after 8 p.m., deputies from the Boulevard substation and fire personnel responded to 2071 Ross Avenue in the unincorporated community of Boulevard. They were responding to a structure fire. When the deputies and firefighters arrived on scene, they found a residence and a detached garage engulfed in flames. The fire personnel extinguished the flames on one of the structures and worked on extinguishing the flames in the other structure. While they were extinguishing the flames in one of the structures, they entered the structure and found a body inside. The body was deceased. The victim in that structure has been identified as Christina Anderson. She's a 44-year-old Lakeside resident, and it has been determined that Ms. Anderson has been murdered. Additionally, in the building where Ms. Anderson was located, there was a dog which had been killed. Sheriff's bomb arson investigators searched through the rubble of one of the burned buildings on the property, and they found the remains of a child. The child's identity and cause and manner of death have not been determined at this time. The suspect in this murder and arson has been identified as James Lee DiMaggio. His date of birth is 1/17/73. He's a 40-year-old owner of the residence at 2071 Ross Avenue. It is believed that Ms. Anderson and DiMaggio were in a close relationship, a close platonic relationship. There was no romantic involvement between the two. The location of Ms. Anderson's children, 16-year-old Hannah Anderson and 8-year-old Ethan Anderson, are unknown. It is believed that one or both of the children It's believed that one or both of the children have been abducted by DiMaggio, whose whereabouts are also unknown. An Amber Alert has been activated in the hopes that the children and DiMaggio can be located. DiMaggio is believed to be driving a blue Nissan Versa, California license plate of 6WCU986. Investigators from the Homicide Detail, Bomb Arson, and Crime Lab are participating in this investigation. The reason we're calling this press conference essentially is that we need the public's help in locating these people. We'd like to definitely like to locate the children. We believe that if they are with DiMaggio, that they are in danger, and we would definitely like to find Mr. DiMaggio. We would like anybody who has any information on the location of DiMaggio or either of the children to please call 911. Do not attempt to approach them or detain them, take them into custody. Just call 911. I'd like to go over the descriptions of the people we're looking for. I have some pictures I'll hold up. The pictures are also available on Facebook, the Sheriff's Facebook page, and we can get that. It might be easier for you guys to pull the pictures off of that. Here's a picture of our suspect. His name is James Lee DiMaggio. He's 40 years of age. He's a white male. He's about 5'9", 150 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. We have information that his beard and mustache have been shaved off recently. He is believed to be driving a blue Nissan Versa, a 4-door. It should look just like this. Again, with the California license plate of 6, W as in William, C as in Charles, U as in Unit, 986. and the children that are missing. This is a picture of Hannah Anderson. She's a white female, 16 years old. She's about 5'7", 115 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. She has a belly button ring, a nose stud, and pierced ears. And this is a picture of Ethan Anderson. He's an 8-year-old boy. He's a white male, about 4'11", weighs 65 pounds, and has sandy blonde hair. Again, we're asking for the public's help in locating the children and DiMaggio. We believe the children are in danger. We believe one or more of the children are with him, and we would definitely hope that if somebody sees them, they would please call 911 so that we can locate them, make sure the children are safe, and to take Mr. DiMaggio into custody. We don't know at this point. All I can say is it was a child. We don't have any identification on the child at this point. There was just essentially burned remains of a child.
Does she have more than 2 children?
No, she just has 2 children.
Do you believe that the child's remains were there previous to the fire? Perhaps this was an older death?
We're not sure. We will be able to determine that after the autopsy is conducted tomorrow by the medical examiner.
Can you tell us the location of the child's body in relation to
That's one of the details I can't discuss.
Can you tell us how Christina died?
I cannot. Again, the cause and manner of death, well, I'm sorry, the actual cause of death will be determined through the autopsy. The manner of death will be a homicide.
Can you talk to us just about how you determined that this was murder prior to a fire and how you connected the suspect to these crimes? Anything you can tell us?
I don't believe I've said this was a murder prior to the fire, and I couldn't go into detail discussing any injuries or any evidence that we found at the scene. None that we're aware of.
Do you know when Hannah and Ethan were last seen?
I believe they were last seen on Saturday.
In Boulevard, you know?
Yes, they were seen, I believe it was with their mother in Boulevard.
What did you believe that the children are with DiMaggio?
I'm not even sure I would know how to answer that. We've been investigating this since the homicide detail got out there at around midnight last night. We've been out there ever since. We've done a lot of interviews. We've examined the scene forensically. We've recovered a lot of evidence. All of those things combined led us to our conclusion that one or more of the children may be with DiMaggio.
So since you don't know that both of them were abducted, both of the children, could it be that the body of the minor in the house, possibility that it's maybe Ethan?
That's always a possibility. However, we have not been able to identify the child remains that were found at the residence.
The neighbors have said that there was
Missing children reports other than these 2 children?
Not that we're aware of. I can't discuss criminal records.
neighbors have told us that there was discussion of a possible camping trip or something along those lines. So any possibility that he may be somewhere with them right now
I-
for recreational purposes?
I can't go into any details on what witnesses may have said. We've done a complete canvass of the area. We've contacted anybody that we've gotten any information that may be aware of or may know the people. But unfortunately, I can't go into any detail as to what they have said.
Is there any leads on where they might be or how far they may have gone?
At this point, we're not sure. We would like, they could have gone to another state, they could have gone to another country potentially. We just don't know at this point. They could be, a mile from here. We just don't really have any information as to where they may have gone.
There's no possibility of other suspects.
Date of birth?
I do not have that with me, I'm sorry.
Are you able to track their whereabouts by cell phone? I mean, certainly Mr. DiMaggio probably has a cell phone.
I don't want to go into any detail as to what efforts we're taking to try to locate them. Obviously, that would, go against what we're trying to do. If I was to say we're using X, Y, and Z to track them down, then all of a sudden X, Y, and Z stops working. so I can't go into details as to what investigative efforts we're going into. I would like to add one thing, forgot to mention. We have requested the FBI to assist us with the locating of the children and DiMaggio. One of their investigators is here with us now, and they are assisting us in this investigation as far as the location, trying to locate the children and DiMaggio.
Christina Anderson is from Lakeside, but has she been living in Boulevard with DiMaggio, or she her two children? And can you also talk a little bit more about, you said they had a close platonic relationship. Are you able to elaborate on that?
Christina and her children lived in Lakeside. They would visit DiMaggio at his residence in Boulevard, and I can't go into any more detail other than to say that Christina and DiMaggio had a close platonic relationship.
Like work colleagues or family friends?
I don't know where they know each other from. I have received information that they were not romantically involved, they were just friends.
You mentioned that there was a dog that was killed. Do you mean killed by the fire, or do you mean killed prior to the fire?
I don't think I should go into detail as to what happened to the dog. The dog was killed during the incident, though. No, not that we're aware of.
Were there any weapons found?
There were remains of weapons that had been burned at the residence.
What kind of weapons?
I don't want to go into detail as to exactly what we found and what we seized at the residence.
Were the remains of the child partially obscured? Was there an attempt to sort of bury this child?
The body of the child was found in a structure that had basically completely collapsed and was amid the rubble. The bomb arson investigators and with the assistance of CAL FIRE firefighters basically dug through the rubble of the entire house, and when they were doing that, essentially sifting through the rubble, they located the remains of the boy.
Has arson determined where the fire started? What part of the house or what structure?
The arson investigators have done their investigation there. They've come up with what they believe happened, how the fire started, what method the fire was used, what method the DiMaggio used to start the fire, and the locations. Unfortunately, I can't go into detail as it's still a very active investigation.
Do you have information as to where DiMaggio might be headed? Maybe he has other residences or he's lived in other states or anything like that?
We don't have any information as to where they may be heading. We're basically looking at every possible connection we can. We're exhausting every possible investigative resource we have at our disposal to locate DiMaggio and the children.
What charges is he on so far?
Murder and arson.
Has law enforcement responded to this arrest in the past? Does he know where they were?
I don't have any information that we've gone out there. I spoke with the resident deputies or the rural deputies that work the Boulevard substation, which is only maybe 2 miles away. They were not familiar with the residents. To their knowledge, we have not responded out to that scene before, out to that residence before.
Do you believe Miss Anderson was killed before the fire or by the fire?
Can't go into detail as to any manner of death, exactly what happened to her. Again, I don't want to impede the investigation, and I can't go into the details of that.
Right now, the child's death is not being ruled as a homicide.
At this time, no. That will be determined because of the condition. That will have to be determined at the autopsy.
Ted, were both structures destroyed? It sounds like it was a two-story house and a detached garage. Were they both completely rubble?
And that's another one of those things I can't go into detail about.
Does Mr. DiMaggio have family in the area or joining jurisdictions?
He does have family in the area.
In San Diego County?
Yes.
Were the remains of firearms what you actually found there, or another type of weapon?
I can't go into detail as to what type of weapons were found.
And you've said that the woman's body and the dog's body were found in the same structure. Can you say that the child's body found in the other structure? And are you saying which, whether one was the house or one was the garage? Or
I'm not saying which they were. We don't want to put out details as to where the bodies were located, whether it's the people or the dogs, just like we don't want to get into too much detail as to what structures may have been destroyed or to what level the fire damage caused.
Did Mr. DiMaggio live inside that home alone?
Yes, he was the sole occupant. He did own the residence and was the sole occupant of the residence.
Lieutenant,
Was there anybody else inside that home who believed at the time of the fire or fire happening other than Anderson and the kids?
I don't believe we have any information that there was anyone else there other than Anderson, the children, and DiMaggio.
Is your office working with Mexican authorities in case that they open the border?
Yes, like I said, we're not holding back at all. We're contacting every possible agency and authority to try to locate them. And with the FBI's help, they have a lot of more liaisons and resources in Mexico and Canada, if that was to be the case also.
Is there reason to believe DiMaggio was armed?
I would say that's always a possibility. That's why I stressed before, if somebody was to see or believe they see them, don't approach them, don't attempt to detain them or arrest them. Just call 911 and report what you saw.
you stated that it was determined that Ms. Anderson had been murdered. So, by deduction, the cause of her death also could have been the fire, or murder suggesting something else. I mean, I'm trying to clarify whether this is, she had been murdered, usually you think of that as inflicted by somebody else, not by a fire.
Although you could murder somebody by starting a fire in a residence where they are. So again, I can't go into any detail as to how she died, other than the fact that we do believe it was a murder.
Can you speak to possible motive at all?
No, I can't.
What does DiMaggio do for a living?
Don't think I want to go into detail as to what he does for work at this point, at least.
How long had he owned the property?
I don't know.
Does he have any sort of criminal history or any sort of past that
I can't discuss criminal history. That's not something I can make public.
Is it known if he owned weapons? Had them in the house just for recreational purposes?
We did recover weapons at the residence. The burned remains of weapons. As I've said a couple times already, I can't describe what type of weapons they were. And again, I apologize for being vague on so many details, but it is a very active, fluid investigation. We're going to be here I won't be here throughout the night, but other investigators will be. We're going to work on this pretty much nonstop until we can locate them.
Have any tips came in yet?
The Amber Alert went out while I was at the Boulevard substation earlier this afternoon, and probably within 2 or 3 minutes, calls had started coming in to the Boulevard substation. Even though that's not what the Amber Alert requested, people in that area started calling in and giving tips.
Today is August 5th, but there was a communication that said that the abduction occurred on August 3rd. Is that
Was
true?
on the missingcase.com.
They were last seen on the 3rd, I believe. They were reported missing on the 4th, is my understanding.
Who reported them?
The grandparents reported the children missing.
After the fire?
I'm sorry?
After the fire?
I'm not sure exactly what time they did report them.
Did the kids stay with the parents?
Anderson's parents, the children's grandparents, I'm sorry.
Did the children stay with the mother with the grandparents? Would they expect the grandparents' house to be called authorities and say if they were missing?
Say that one more time.
Did the children reside with the mother and the grandparents, and the grandparents would tell authorities that they were missing? Did they expect the grandparents' house? Why was that not done?
I don't know what led them to believe that the children were missing.
Reported missing yesterday. Why did it take until this evening for this afternoon to That's the answer.
There's a big difference between two missing children and an Amber Alert, where we have facts to believe that the children were actually abducted, a stranger abduction essentially, or a non-familial abduction. Very strict rules on when you can put out an Amber Alert, which is why they're so infrequent.